Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Stogie video review. I am Walt White, and here once again for another short ashes video. And if you're not familiar with those, typically there isn't a write-up that is included with this video on Stogie review. It's just the video itself, a couple of little notes, and I just re-review something that we've done in the past. It doesn't necessarily have to be myself, something that either Brian or Jerry reviewed. And this week, I happen to be reviewing a cigar that Brian first took a look at, and that cigar is the Perdomo Patriarch. Now, this is my second Perdomo Patriarch. This is not something that my local shop carries. I actually got two samples from IPCPR in New Orleans, and this is the last of those samples. Just looking this over real quick, I noticed that I've got a tiny little crack. It's not really tiny, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get you to see it, toward the foot of the cigar. Maybe not. Anyway, there's a small crack that runs across the stick, not lengthwise. Because it runs across the stick, it shouldn't be much trouble. I should be able to burn right through it. Aside from that, the cigar looks pretty good. I've got one little spot up toward the band where there's just a little dark ring, and it looks like some of the wrapper is chipped away. I can see the wrap underneath. That shouldn't be any problem either. The color's pretty consistent. Cigar looks a little lumpy. The veins are a little prominent. Looking over that spiral that goes down the cigar, the seam looks nice and straight. It's one of those things that really catch my eye, and I appreciate it when the seam looks like it was done neatly and doesn't sort of start and stop or look like it was tore away. This one looks like it was done in one nice smooth cut, and makes it a very nice presentation. It's the minor details like that really catch my eye. So, cigar looks pretty good. Feels evenly packed. So, I'm about ready to light it up. And while I do that, I'll just go over a little bit of information that I came across for this stick. Now, first place I looked online was Corona Cigar Company, and there were a lot of results for Perdomo Patriarch. I'm not sure how their pricing compares to anyone else. It just happened to be the first retailer I looked at. Boxes of 20 cigars. This one, I believe, is an Epicure, 50 by 6, which runs $150 a box. Again, 20 cigars, and Corona's running a promotion for a free lighter. From here, I'll jump on over to Brian's original review, and it's got a Nicaraguan Corojo wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler. The price of the cigar he smoked, which was a Torpedo, was around $9. Now, traditionally, these cigars, this particular shape, tends to be a little less expensive than the Torpedo, so it's probably going to run, you know, I guess like $7.50 to around $9. I'm assuming. Again, my local doesn't carry these, and the only ones I've smoked are samples. So we'll see how it goes. Just want to look over Brian's notes real quick so that I can pass on any information that looks interesting while I'm doing the long and tedious lighting process, where I wouldn't normally be saying anything. But no, it looks like Brian dives right into the review. There's not a whole lot of backstory on this cigar. Alright, well, I got my cigar lit, producing a good volume of smoke. Just for no particular reason. It's Saturday morning, right around 10:30. I'm smoking this cigar with coffee, so you know, keep that in mind. If the cigar goes one way or another, if it seems over the top, it's probably because it's a little early, my first cigar of the day and whatnot. So sit tight, I'll be right back. We'll take a look at the first third and see how the Perdomo Patriarch goes. Alright, well, it's time to take a look at the first third of my Perdomo Patriarch, and I gotta say, so far, I'm really enjoying it. It's, I don't know, maybe just a little bit too full for a first cigar of the day, but otherwise I'm really enjoying it. And it's actually kind of strange. For someone that just loved really full-bodied cigars, you know, I enjoyed the cane, I smoke Oliva's El Cobres, Flor Dominicana, Double Ajero chisels, you know, just things like that. Really full-bodied, very robust cigars, and lately I've been finding myself gravitating more towards the medium-bodied stuff, and that's where I'm finding this one. Medium, maybe medium to full, not over the top, at least not this early, but it has a very nice, rich, smooth flavor to it. Now, the most obvious thing I taste is the Corojo wrapper. Just has a very rich flavor to it that's, I don't know, if you've smoked a lot of Corojo tobacco, or even a little bit of Corojo tobacco, you know that it has a distinct flavor to it. And I'm not really sure how to explain it. It's got sort of a spiciness to it, and almost a creaminess to it. And it's very much the primary flavor in this cigar, and that's really why I enjoy Corojo cigars so much. I really like that flavor. So that's the primary flavor is just this rich Corojo taste. Beyond that, I'm getting a little bit of coffee flavor and a little bit of nuts. Now, the coffee flavor and the nuts could very well be the fact that I'm drinking a cup of coffee. But all in all, whether or not they're coming from the coffee or the cigar, in this particular combination, they're going very well, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I mentioned that the body was medium to full maybe. Finish is smooth, it's creamy, easy on the palate, easy to smoke. While there isn't an abundance of different flavors going on, I'm finding myself really enjoying the consistency of what I'm getting so far. Now, I'm easily bored, or I get bored easily with consistent cigars, so I would like to see some change up a little further into the cigar, but for right now, I'm really liking what I'm smoking. As far as the burning characteristics go, I burned through that horizontal crack that I had in the cigar. It really didn't cause any trouble at all. The ash has been tightly compacted, holds on nice and strong. The burn line actually takes a little bit of effort to even knock the ash off the cigar. The burn line is even for the most part. I mean, it's got a little bit of a wave to it. It's fairly thin. I mean, I've got the burn line, you know, extends a little bit, and you get a fairly wide burn line, but the swelling and whatnot is all at the very edge. And when I say it's got like a thick burn line, I mean the swelling and the black line itself is actually kind of wide. Here, the swelling is on the very tip of the leaf. The black just extends down a bit. The smoke volume is very good. The draw is right in line with what I like. Not too much resistance, not too little, just perfect. So all in all, as a first cigar of the day, it may be a touch heavy, but I'm really enjoying it. So that takes care of the first third of my Perdomo Patriarch Corojo. So sit tight, I'll be right back. We'll take a look at the second third. I'll be back one more time. After that, we'll take a look at the final third, do an overall impression, and I'll let you be on your way. So sit tight. In 3, 2, 1. Alright, well, it's about time to wrap up the Perdomo Patriarch Corojo. And, turn Twitter off. As you can see, the burn line is still a little wavy, a little thick in spots. Hasn't been any trouble at all. As far as the burning characteristics go, the construction, it's been fantastic. You know, there were times when the burn line got a little out of hand, but it didn't take too long for it to correct itself, and it didn't pose too much of a problem. No touch-ups were required. Stayed lit the whole time, provided great volume of smoke, very rich and dense, creamy flavor. The most notable flavor being that Corojo primary component. Still some coffee and nuts in there. Again, I'm still sipping on coffee, so it very well could be the coffee that I'm tasting and not so much aspects of the cigar. That little bit of a vegetal flavor seems to have faded considerably. I'm still getting hints of it here and there. It's still kind of interesting, although it's, I don't know, it's not something that I would say really adds to the cigar, but it doesn't take away from it either. Finish is nice and smooth, creamy texture, easy to get through the sinuses. It's not aggressive through the sinuses. This is one that, even if you don't typically retrohale smoke, this one shouldn't give you much trouble in terms of that burning sensation. Some cigars are really over the top with that. This one's pretty medium, I guess. It's not really an intense spiciness or a stinging sensation. It's more of a smooth and easygoing one. All in all, you know, I really enjoyed it. Jump back again to characteristics of the cigar. I forgot to mention the body. It's still medium to full. There really hasn't been any progression in that department. All in all, I really enjoyed this cigar. Although it was a little one-dimensional, I still found myself really into that Corojo core flavor. As you go along, the flavors pick up a little bit of richness and they become a little more interesting. It doesn't have the dynamic flavors that, say, the champagne, the Perdomo Reserve Champagne has, or even the Reserve Cameroon. This one's priced higher than those. I think the other one's maybe a little more interesting, but I really enjoyed this cigar a lot from start to finish. And I'm really looking forward to smoking more of them. As far as the price point goes, it may be a little high, especially for myself that typically spends between $5 and $7 for a cigar. This one being probably between $7 and $9, I would guess. The price structure of a lot of Perdomo products has come down since S-Chip. Primarily the Reserve line. They trimmed some of the cigars, the availability of some of the cigars. They cut ones, I guess, that weren't doing so great, and they lowered some prices of others. The Reserve line in particular, I think they were a little over $7 before. My local shop has them for $5.50 now. So Perdomo has done a lot to bring the prices down in this time of S-Chip, bringing everything else up, so they're becoming a little more attainable. Even though this is one of their more top tier cigars as far as pricing goes, I still think it's a good value and worth the price. So all in all, I really enjoyed this cigar. I look forward to smoking more, and I'm really interested in smoking the Maduro again and getting a first impression of the Connecticut in the very near future. So there you go. That is the short ashes review of the Perdomo Patriarch Corojo. And until next week, happy smoking.